Welcome, everyone. My name is Gavin Mehl. Today is Friday, December 4th, 2015. This is the Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind call. And I'm going to shoot this live on Periscope and Google Hangout, syndicate it out across YouTube and the internet, leave a massive footprint. But welcome, everyone. I want to just do a brief introduction here today. I'm so honored and humbly grateful to be here today as your host. My name is Gavin Mehl. It's actually week 22 of these calls, week number 5 of the calls since we've had a new name of Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind call. Today's Friday, December 4th. And I want to talk today about, the point of the call today is going to be about, is success genetic? Is success genetic? Some amazing stories here. I'm going to syndicate this out on Periscope and put the recording up on Catch Me and also up on YouTube as well. So if you're watching live or watching later, welcome. So thank you so much for everyone for listening in live and also on the recording. Give me so much encouragement and just watching the videos I've been putting out. I appreciate your fuel in the fire. The more you comment, like, subscribe, share, that's all I'm looking to do is just build, value to help inspire you and something different that is not that everyone else isn't doing. I want to just help point people in the right direction. There's no link for you to join. There's nothing for you to buy on these calls. It's nothing like that. Really, it's just going to be a breath of fresh air, something that's going to add value to your life. All of the studying, all the research, all the mind training I've been doing for the last 10 years. I mean, gosh, it's all just built up into this culmination, this powerful mastermind. And not just me, but also the people behind the scenes. But I wanted to start with a brief introduction. My name is Gavin Mehl. I am in Sacramento, California. And originally I've been a business owner for the last 10 years, working online full-time for the last 7 years. My business originally had tremendous success with it. Well, first of all, I was the number one in sales at a large company of 10,000 people. So kind of an interesting story. I came into this company really cocky out of college. I mean, I could say cocky now because I was humbled, but really cocky out of college, told the guy I was going to be the number one in the company. And I ended up becoming number one out of 10,000 people. 10,000 people in sales, I was number one in the entire company. Set a bunch of records. And this went on for about 2 straight years. It was, became a household name. And you could really read a lot of the stuff people said about me on LinkedIn, humbly saying that, my name basically became a household name because it was such a big company and I was number one for so long. So it allowed me to start a business at a young age and acquire enough resources to start a big business. Had an office downtown, high-rise office building, had every 100 plus people at times in the office as staff, and we were crushing it. Then the financial crisis came and pretty much wiped everyone out without me seeing, haven't known anything. I was fortunate enough; I had enough expenses. I did do well, and I got the American Express Black Card, and that just kind of made me even more confident and cocky at times. And so I think God humbled me and said, "Hey, dude, it's time for you to settle down and close that business down, completely wiped everything out there." So started working online for the last 7 years now, full time, and really had a breakthrough online. It's been tremendous. And so I just want to just add value to others and show in basically encourage people that there is hope out there and that there is such a person out there. Kind of tell my story because I know this is going to be seen in the future many, many times. And just kind of tell you a story as to where I come from, who I am, what it's all about, and what the purpose of a mastermind is. The mastermind is two minds are a lot more powerful than one. And we have that going on now. And it's actually a lot bigger than that. It's a global mastermind. So first, let me start with something light. I want to talk about something light a little bit as to what, just I'd like to start with this story. I'm going to turn the camera around on the Periscope as well. Okay. So for those who don't know, I come from Sacramento. I was fortunate enough to be Delta Chi at Sac State. And Delta Chi, you can see the thing behind me there. You may be able to see it. Delta Chi. Anyhow, Delta Chi, it's a fraternity at Sac State. And I was credit to John Pearson for encouraging me to go rush, because when I started at Sac State, I didn't know anyone. I was a baseball player, groomed to be a professional baseball player. That was my whole life. And then I ended up getting injured, but all excuses aside, I wasn't good enough to make the MLB. I really wasn't. I mean, that's just, I'll be honest. Okay. But I'd hoped to, but I was injured. So I stopped playing. I went and I rushed to fraternity. this fraternity, I ended up meeting a guy called Sean Malone. Okay, so Sean ended up being my big bro. And for those who aren't from California, you may have that kind of that surfer guy. What was that movie? Dazed and Confused. That's kind of how Sean was. And so everybody loved this guy. He was the guy that, he would encourage people to come into the fraternity and rush. And Sean, he convinced me to rush. I was looking at all these different chapters, and he was so cool. He was so laid back about it. He was so just chill that I was like, I'm going to go rush this Delta Chi. And, Sean was the type of guy that he, living in the dorms, the cops could come to the dorms. He could be drinking beer inside his dorm room, underage, and talk his way out of it. I mean, there were so many stories about Sean talking his way out of things. It was just unbelievable. I mean, this guy, everybody loved him. I mean, I'll never forget one story. This isn't the story I want to make. One story. We're driving. I'm a pledge. They take us back in the dorms. And they put me in the back of one of this Lincoln Town Car he had. He called it the bomb. This long Lincoln Town Car. He put me in the back with a guy called John Fuhrer in the front seat, and I'm in the back, and they tied me up, but they threw me in there. They're gonna go take me somewhere, and I get in the car, and I'm kind of an innocent, underage, didn't really have a lot of life experience yet. And these guys had beer cans and empty bottles all over the back seat. And I'm thinking, is this legal? I didn't say anything because as a pledge, you don't speak up. And I'm like, they're drinking in the car. And I'm like, this is the first time I'd ever experienced this. I'm like, dude, what's going on? No care in the world at all. I hope Sean doesn't mind me saying he doesn't care now. He's successful. This is a long time ago, but times have changed. So my point is the story about Sean. Everybody loved this guy, right? He's from Burlingame, good family, good student, could do no wrong. All these crazy things he did, he always got away. I think he got pulled over for DUI so many times and never got one at these times, all through college. All this time. So he had so many good qualities, but he had one quality, I'd almost say bad quality. He would forget things, all right? He would forget things sometimes. And there's a point to this story. So Sean was the type of guy, if he had money, he would give it to you. He was generous. He was always there for people. He was a great friend. But for whatever reason, this is just something strange about him. Whatever reason, he would run out of gas in his car. And he had one of these long Lincoln Town Car, kind of Crown Victoria type of cars. And he would go out and go places. And this is a true story. He would run out of gas. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but every single month. He would have money, but he would forget to put gas in the car. I'd never known anyone like this. Who does this? He would literally forget to put gas in the car. So it's a lot about life. And it's an important story because it's funny now. We look back, he didn't put gas in his car, but it's a lot about life. Sometimes we're working, we're grinding. We're just on the hamster wheel. And we forget to take time to stop and breathe and put the good, the clean, the powerful, the positive back into our life. It's a very important metaphor. And I'll tell you, as a leader, it all starts from the top. People are going to follow you. They're going to listen to you. And you always got to be putting the good, the clean, the powerful, the positive back into your mind, fuel your mind, just like Sean needed to fuel his car and he wasn't. What happened when he ran out? He was calling his friends. He was desperate. He was panicking, but he kept doing it. And we keep doing it as well. And I've been there as well. I didn't fuel my mind enough with the right material and, watching something negative. So it's very important we fuel our mind with the right thing. Where do we start? Master Key System is the all-time. I was talking about this. I just was studying this and practicing this before. Master Key System is the all-time. I spent $5,000 on personal development material to find out that this was the all-time. Bill Gates dropped out of college to find this masterpiece right here. Sorry. See it on the Google Hangout there. I'm going to talk to the Google Hangout. I have Periscope going as well. But Master Key System. I want to talk a little bit about the science of success philosophy and how this was, how this concept of this book, okay, by Napoleon Hill, it's called The Law of Success, and the philosophy is the science of success philosophy, came up with this question, determine the answer to this question: is success genetic? All right. So, first of all, there's two things that successful people always say. All right? There's two things successful people always say. You have to love what you do. All right? This is something you'll always hear from successful people. You have to love what you do, have passion for it, have enthusiasm for it, make it an enjoyable process. You got to love what you do. And then second, the elites will tell you that success is genetic. This is a really interesting, debatable topic. Fascinating. Is success genetic? Well, what happens if your genetic code is different from somebody who's having success? Let's say that you were raised on the wrong side of the tracks, or the tracks that weren't as prominent as the next guy. Does that mean that that's where you're going to end up? Are you prone for that? If your parents have blue eyes, are you going to get blue eyes? If your dad has blonde hair and your mom has brown hair, are you going to get one of those too? I mean, could you end up with red hair or black hair? I don't know. These are questions. Well, let's talk a little bit further about this. So let's say that we take 100 people with a net worth of $100 million, and they're all vibrating at the same frequency, and your frequency is different. Is it possible that they raised their frequency to attain success, or were they born that way? So this had never really been, the answer to this question had never really been revealed publicly until 1928, all right? And there was a long lead up to this, all right? And I want to break down the story, all right? Because I think we learn best from stories, and I love stories. This is probably one of my favorite stories of all time. So in 1908, a gentleman by the name of Napoleon Hill went and got a job for a magazine called Success Unlimited for a man called Bob Taylor. Bob Taylor was a governor, former governor at the time. He had a lot of connections and wealth. And Napoleon Hill was a struggling college student. He was going to Georgetown University to get his law degree. He wanted to become a writer. So he wanted to go and interview successful people for this magazine. This is going to be his job while he's in school, and he'd write stories about him. His first interview was this guy called Andrew Carnegie. And here we are 100 years later. It's 2015. My gosh. This meeting, okay, this is so profound. I want to just make this point, how profound this event was in turning history. All right. They say a lot of things about making history, but this is one of those things that was a paradigm. This created a paradigm shift by creating more millionaires than ever before. All right. This event. So this is important. More millionaires were ever created by this encounter, by the result of this encounter, than anything else in history. So in 1908, he goes and interviews this guy called Andrew Carnegie. And Andrew Carnegie's at the tail end of his career. He'd sold his company for $400 million to J.P. Morgan. He was a steel tycoon, and he was the richest man in the world on record. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, what about Rothschild and Rockefeller and these guys behind the scenes? Well, I mean, I can't really, you can't really go on record about all that. I'm not saying it's not there. It clearly is, but on record, a public transaction at the time, he sold his company for $400 million. And that was like proof on the record, right? On the record for the richest man in the world. Carnegie was that guy. So he's got this mission, and Carnegie had come over on a boat from Ireland with nothing. And he was traveling on third class, and he came from nothing, and he realized that he was going somewhere, but he was going to have to leave it all. Like, he couldn't keep his money with him. So he worked his way up from the very bottom all the way to the top through incremental changes, incremental growth. And Carnegie was determined to not only give all his wealth away, but he said in this meeting with Napoleon Hill, you may ask, Gavin, how do you know about this meeting? Well, much later in life, Napoleon Hill published a book called Think Your Way to Wealth. Okay, Think Your Way to Wealth was 1950s, well after Think and Grow Rich. Basically, it was a book on the shorthand interview he had with Carnegie. So a lot of people say, oh, did he really meet Carnegie? Was this all made up? Get Think Your Way to Wealth, and it will just blow your mind, because Carnegie's wisdom is something unexplainable. It's undescribable. It's hard to put into words. The amount of wisdom the man has sitting there, imagining just Hill interviewing him, taking all this wisdom down in shorthand in a 3-day period. It was really just a 3-day period. He's taken all these notes down in shorthand. Carnegie interviewed some 400 people for this job to go out and bring the first science of success philosophy to the world. Finally, he says to Hill, he says, hey, we've been sitting here 3 days and nights. Will you take this philosophy to the world, the first science of success philosophy to the world, pay your own way? It's going to take 20 years. I'll help with expenses in the beginning, or some travel expenses in the beginning, but you got to pay your own way. It's going to take you 20 years. Will you take the job, yes or no? And he had a stopwatch there. He's timing him, and finally he clicks the watch, and it was like 35 seconds. And Hill's sitting there thinking, no way, am I going to take it? How could he take this job? He didn't have any money. He reaches in his pocket. He had nothing but a fare to get home from Pennsylvania to Washington on the train. He's without money, didn't know what philosophy meant. It didn't make any sense. Something on his shoulder tells him to take the job. And he says, Mr. Carnegie, I not only will accept your commission, but you can count on me. You can depend on me to fulfill it. So 20 years later, 1928, he published The Law of Success. It was actually in 1925 in the original manuscript called The Law of Success that he released what I'm about to talk about here, A Law of Success. And this was the original manuscripts. All right, my Periscope is down for some reason. No problem. I'll just stop Periscope. Sorry about that. So, science of success. The point is success genetic? So I wanted to give you the power of what Hill discovered. Carnegie introduced him to 500 of the richest and wealthiest people on the planet at this time. Okay? Presidents, former presidents, past presidents, Rockefeller, Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, the list goes on. What Hill determined after all this research, okay, and if you don't know anything about Napoleon Hill yet, like I didn't know anything about him, gosh, it's only been 2 years. I had a book called Think and Grow Rich 2 years ago. Well, I got it 10 years ago, and I read it and I threw it in the garbage pretty much. I didn't think much of it. I didn't know that it was how important it was. Wasn't until I was forced almost into buying this personal development material that I realized the power of Think and Grow Rich. And then it led me to his original work, The Law of Success, because of what happened. One of the men he interviewed was a guy called Henry Ford. And Henry Ford, in today's terms, was worth like some $200 billion. Powerful man. He started the Ford enterprise. Came from a blue-collar family, didn't come from anything, but Henry Ford was very helpful in helping him to assemble the science of success philosophy. However, Henry Ford believed that the elite class, the class that Ford had become a part of, he wasn't born into it, but he became a part of, he believed that they should rule over the third class. So if you weren't born into that class, then you should be ruled over. So when he found out and he wrote books about this. When he found out what Hill was doing, okay, he was incredibly, had more money than basically anyone in the world at this time. Carnegie was long gone. And Carnegie gave all his money away anyways. So he was the richest man. And he says, you know, I don't want this information getting out there. So he was determined to water down all of Hill's material. And he was still alive in 1937 when Think and Grow Rich was published. So this, what I'm talking about here is success genetic? This is what Henry Ford didn't want being talked about in The Law of Success in 1928 and Think and Grow Rich in 1937. And you can only find it in the original work, 1925. Is success genetic? So, what Hill discovered with Thomas Edison's help was that, yes, you were born a certain way. Yes, your parents could be one way, but you can change it. There's only one way, though, that this frequency could be changed. And for me to just say this in a simple format, it's just not doing it justice. But this is the truth. He said, the only stimulus, the only outside stimulus that could change your own genetic code is your own persistent thought. Your own persistent thought. Now, this had been talked about in the Holy Scriptures and, you know, the Master Key System and philosophy for hundreds of years. So he didn't make it up, but this is the first time it had become formulated, okay, into an actual philosophy, and that was very usable and practical. An example of this is the placebo effect. I want you to think about, you know, when somebody gets a sugar pill, right? Somebody is told that they're sick, and if they take this pill, it's going to make them better. Well, when they take the pill with the sugar in it, or they take the pill with the medication in it, there's been many examples of the one with the sugar in it getting better than the one with the medication. All right, it's called the placebo effect, where the mind believes it's getting the cure, even though it didn't get anything. So, the big debate is success genetic? Why the heck do I want to talk about this? Well, I believe that we're at a tipping point right now. And I recorded a bunch of videos this week, one of which was one of the most profound videos I've ever done. It is the most profound video I've ever done, okay? I'm humbly speaking. And it was inspired by a source beyond me. It wasn't, I don't deserve the credit, that's for sure. I was just a messenger or a vehicle to produce that. But it was called How the Mass Awakening Will Happen, okay? And it's important that people understand that, is success genetic? They ask themselves that, because 99.9% of people believe it is. Or even if they don't believe it is, they subconsciously believe it is. Because it takes breaking through the conscious mind. It takes breaking through the shell on the outer mind. It's kind of like an eggshell. It takes breaking through that with persistent hammering to then eventually get into the real mind, the 95, the 91, the 99, whatever the percentage is of the actual mind, right? The subconscious mind, the divine mind. We have to tell the conscious mind enough times over and over again that no, it's not genetic. I can do this. I can be rich. I have the right to be rich. I can be prosperous. I can be what I will to be, like it says in the Master Key System. So I recorded a video this week called How the Mass Awakening Will Happen, and it was just so much heart and soul into this. I wrote a blog about it. I'll put the link below. But on November 6th of 2000, on November 30th, this is crazy. I mean, I can't believe I'm talking about this right now. Okay. It was on November 30th of 2006, I had a profound day at the office. And I talked about the beginning of this call here. Profound day to where, like, ended up having tears running down my face. I had no idea why. This bolt of lightning hit me. It was just like a lightning bolt of love. And it was a work day, and I completely am just profoundly touched for no reason. This went on for pretty much the whole weekend, okay? Anyhow, I'll never forget the day. It was November 30th, 2006, and I was given this purpose of spreading love and prosperity to humanity. What's crazy is I recorded this video. It was so inspired. It was so pushed. I was pushed to do it. Like I couldn't even not do it. It just went out, and I wrote the blog, and and I shouted it out. It was like so profound. Like I couldn't not do it. I couldn't hold it back. It wasn't until the next day I go back and watch the video. This is on the bond, okay? This is true. The next day I go back and watch the video, and I get the chills because the video date says November 30th. I'm thinking, what does this mean? What does this mean? I recorded this on November 30th. 9 years after this had happened, what does this mean? And I didn't know it. And the point is that I didn't know how. I never knew how. I never focused on the how that this mass awakening would happen. But the video makes it clear as to how it's going to happen. And I guess I was given the answer, and I was given the truth as to how. And now I know how. It's and a good example of it is the 100 monkey syndrome. So a group of scientists studied monkeys on neighboring islands for a period of 30 years, starting in, I believe it was in the 50s. And these are the same exact type of species of monkeys, but on different islands, but they can't go island to island. It's like a fish in a stream. You can't go to another stream that's not connected, or a fish in a bowl, let's say, and another bowl over here. You can't jump back and forth unless he's going to do something crazy or tricky, but he can't. So these monkeys can't go island to island, even though they're the same species. I studied these monkeys for years, and the monkeys appear to be very smart. So the researchers said, let's bring in a new type of food for them to eat and see what happens. So they brought in this new sweet potato on the island. You can read the book. It's called The 100 Monkey Syndrome. And it is by Ken Keyes Jr. Keyes. So they decided to bring him in a sweet potato, right? And so the researchers started washing the sweet potato off and eating it. They'd wash it off and eat it each day. And monkeys would watch them. You ever see monkeys in the zoo, and they're kind of like, they're smart. They're watching what you're doing, right? Monkey see, monkey do. So finally, after a week, one of the monkeys did it. He washed the sweet potato off in the river, and he ate it. Washed it off and ate it. Washed it off and ate it. Okay, great. Monkey see, monkey do. So his monkey friend started doing it. Then his other monkey friend started doing it. All of a sudden, there's all these monkeys eating these sweet potatoes now, washing them off and eating them. After about 100 monkeys did it, scientists on another island and another island and another island, all these surrounding islands, reported back that monkeys on the other islands began to wash the sweet potatoes off that they had placed there and eat them all at the same time. This created a tipping point in the minds of these monkeys somehow, to where they communicated through telepathy, let's say. And they all woke up to the idea that this was a new food to eat without being able to communicate any other way. Another example of this that I talked about in the video was the profound date, 1918, at the end of World War I, Armistice Day. And this story is in the Law of Success, okay? It's in here in the Law of Success. So you may have heard I talk about it was Napoleon Hill's story, but you didn't hear about it in Think and Grow Rich. A lot of people don't know the profoundness of Law of Success, okay? I hopefully I explained it well enough there in the beginning of the video there. It's so profound. It's changed my life so much that I want the world to know about it, okay? And this book, the original 1925 manuscript, is pretty much a rarity. I mean, it's very rare to even get it or see it. Most people don't know about it. But if you read what people say about it on Amazon, just read the reviews on Amazon about it. The Original Law of Success. You'll be blown away. So he talks about it in there about how in 1918, Napoleon Hill, it's an amazing story. I wrote a blog on it. I'll put the link below. It was an amazing story. He had been working for 20 or more years on the idea that he wanted to become a publisher of a magazine. That was his goal. He wanted to become a publisher of a magazine. It was incredibly expensive, and this is way back before the internet. Even radio was coming out. Definitely no TV. 1918, right? So he wanted to publish a magazine. People read magazines. They were a very big deal at this time. So Hill wants to publish a magazine. 1918 comes around, Armistice Day. He wakes up, physical force from his bed, shaken out of bed, he says. He didn't know why. He'd been working and all stressed out about trying to come up with an idea for this magazine, getting nowhere. Finally, he goes out into the streets of Chicago where he's at. And in the streets there are people, thousands of people all over the streets. And he looks around and he's like, what is going on? Turns out that all these people were out of bed and they didn't know why. All these soldiers were told, there was a newspaper article that came out, they were notified somehow that the war was over, stop fighting. This is a true story, all right? So this really happened. You know, you could read the news articles about the war being announced to be over. And it raised up some sort of a joyous feeling with so many people at one time. I don't know if there's ever been another event like this in human history or not, but this is the only one I know of on record. That it basically created a mass feeling of joy to a higher consciousness that woke people up out of bed with physical force, and they flooded the streets. Imagine that. It's called telepathy, where the mind somehow communicated on a different frequency, on the same frequency, without anyone knowing why, okay? It was like the 100th monkey syndrome. Enough monkeys started eating those sweet potatoes, and all the other monkeys on other islands started doing it too. So my point is, this is how the mass awakening is going to happen, okay? I don't know how, I don't know when, but now I know how. I don't know when, but now I know how. This is so profound. So I wanted to elaborate on that a little bit. So for those who will watch that video, which is going viral right now, you can watch this. Hopefully, you can watch this my global mastermind call and learn who the heck is this guy with the bleached blonde hair out here in California. You can make fun of my hair. I got my hair done the other day, and it's all bleached out, all good. I used to be all nervous about my hair and be like, oh, I wonder if someone's going to notice I bleached my hair. And now I don't even care. I don't know why. I don't care anymore. I think it's just like you get over the point of fear where you've had so much done to you, like you've had so many failures. You failed so many times. I'm no guru, right? I'm just a student. I talk about this in the call here, but I'm not a guru. I'm a student. Just like you, I'm no better than you. In fact, I've failed worse and many more times than most anyone will ever watch this call. I've failed so many times, so hard, disappointed so many people. Now, I've been honest, okay? That's one thing as I got my character, thank God for Delta Chi. They taught me character and honesty and integrity, loyalty, unity, respect, chivalry, knowledge. But I have failed before, okay? And so I guess that's how I've overcome all my fears. Here's a funny, a really important attitude to have in life, in business, working online, reaching your goals. I want to talk about goals, how important goals are. But first, I want you to try to get this point. How much should you really care about reaching your goals? How much should you really care about attaining success? This is an attitude thing that I learned from the greatest living mentor alive, KT. And he talks about how much we really care about reaching our goals. This is a mindset secret, okay? This is a secret nugget. It's a golden nugget that you're not going to learn anywhere else. How much should you really care? Well, there's a book called How You Can Negotiate Anything by a guy called Herb Cohen. Okay, he's like a Jewish guy who used to smoke cigars, and he would go around and give these talks, lectures, and he would talk about his book, How You Can Negotiate Anything. Herb Cohen. And he would say, in negotiations, you have to care, but not that much. In negotiations, you have to care, but not that much. And life and success is the same way. So stop for a moment. Think about this. Drill this into you. When you let go and you become light about things, you're not so tense about hitting your goal. You're not so tense about getting that, making this the most important thing in the world, right? Because if you stop and think, the real important things don't cost anything. Okay, the real important things that you really, really value, life, family, your loved ones, your health. These things are your mind. These things are given to you at birth. Okay, you don't have to pay for them. Those are the real things that are important. So when you stop for a moment, say, wait a second. Yeah, I want to win. Yeah, I want success. Yeah, I want to reach my goals, of course. But I have to care, but not that much. I have to care, but not that much. So take life easy. Give love, give hugs and give love, give encouragement. Stop. When they say smell the flowers, smell the roses. Stop and breathe deep. Before this call, I shut everything off. And I was late doing the call. But you know what? I stopped. I did the master key. I practiced the master key system, chapter 11 for 30 minutes. I stopped and I breathed. And then my mind would wander. I'd say, wait, breathe. And it talks about focusing on your breathing. And I'm on the part where it's having me focus on a scripture, chapter 11. But you got to stop and enjoy life. Not be so uptight. If you do this, this is a major mindset secret. Things are going to start flowing to you. All the things that you want are just going to start coming to you easily. I'm experiencing it now. You start to dance, you start to have fun, you start to loosen up, and you have fun. So go out and have have balance in your life. Have a piece of cake, have a cup of coffee, have a glass of scotch if you drink, or have a cigar. It's about balance though. Don't let the cigar or the smoking or the drink or the cake control you. You're in control, okay? But it's okay to have balance and enjoy life a little bit, all right? So thank you so much for watching. I mean, it is Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind Call. Is a call designed from the student's perspective. I'm not a guru, okay? It's just a student's perspective call, and I want you to get a little bit of better idea as to what a mastermind is. And back to Napoleon Hill's original interview with Andrew Carnegie. The second most important principle that Carnegie talked about, besides definite purpose, the first is having a goal. What's your why? Determining what your why is. Okay, why are you here? What is your purpose in life? My purpose has changed over time in a way, but it's still been the same. Spread love and prosperity to humanity, but kind of the molding as to, I guess, the how and the essence of what I'm really doing has changed. When I was given that purpose, there wasn't really an internet. I wasn't on the internet, really. I mean, I did advertising the old school way. We send letters out to people and spend $70,000 a month on advertising letters. Old school. But so my purpose has changed. And so you have to determine your why. But Andrew Carnegie said the second was the mastermind. And back to the story of Andrew Carnegie again, is Carnegie he didn't know much about the manufacturing of steel. And you think, wait a second, how is that possible? He was the largest steel tycoon in history, right? He revolutionized the steel industry, but he didn't know much about it? How's that possible? It's the same way that Thomas Edison only had a fourth grade education. He didn't really know a lot about all these inventions. Now, I'm not saying he was a brilliant man. He knew a ton. But Edison, Carnegie, and even Ford gives the story about how Ford was sued. The story, I think, is in Law of Success. Ford was sued for monopoly by the government at some point. It was like in the 20s or something. He said, you're trying to take over this industry. You're monopolizing things. And so the lawyers are grilling Ford on the witness stand. They're saying, hey, they want to prove that he's an ignorant, dumb person in front of the jury. And they start asking him all these questions about how, tell us about the founding fathers and tell us about Paul Revere. Who doesn't know, but you don't know about Paul Revere? Who? And he's saying, and he was kind of caught off guard. He didn't know all the answers to all these questions. Like, tell us who shot Abraham Lincoln and these historical facts. And finally, he did the best he could. He said, Your Honor, I can just press this button here, and in a moment's notice, I can have a man in here which knows the answers to each one of these questions, no matter what it is. I have a mastermind group. I specialize in building the most fine automobile at the best cost. I'm not a history professor, but I have a mastermind group that can answer any one of these questions. So Your Honor, would you be so kind to tell me why I should be troubled with this man's questions, the lawyer who's questioning him, when it has nothing to do with me or my business or even being here? And the lawyer just completely was flabbergasted, okay, because it drives home the point of the mastermind. And the same thing with Andrew Carnegie. He didn't know much about steel, but he had this mastermind group. And the mastermind group, he could bounce ideas off of, and they knew every single part of steel. He had one specialized attorney. He had a specialized part in this group and a specialized part in that group. And he had the great Charlie Schwab, who was the people master, the master of people of all time. And he even talks about it in Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, about how Charlie Schwab was the all-time people person of all time. And Carnegie paid him $1 million a year just to deal with people, So it's the mastermind group. It's the principle of the mastermind. So, if you're watching this live, if you're watching the hangout later, make a comment below and tell me what you want to hear in the future. I'm going to be putting out a lot of other value and training videos about different concepts. I believe that we are on the verge of a tipping point where the prosperity consciousness is shifting, and it already has shifted. If you want to know more why of how I know this, make a comment below. I've been studying and obsessed with this for a long time. I could go on and on. How long have I been going? How long has this been going on for? I actually, it doesn't even give me a counter on here. So I'm really, forgive me. I don't even know how long I've been talking. But bottom line is this. If you subscribe to the channel, if you do the thumbs up, if you leave a comment with something, I'll read it. Okay. I would love to connect with you. And if you're in it, this far along, you probably have a lot of value to give. I'm a student, okay? I'm a servant leader. Yes, I'm a leader, but I'm a servant leader, okay? He who amongst you must be able to serve. All right, those are the true leaders, not someone who tells you what to do. I'm going to walk the walk. I always believe if there's a in the fraternity, an example, in the fraternity, I relate back to the fraternity, but whenever the guys in my class would get down, and we were raised by a Marine, okay, so it was very hard. The president was an ex-Marine, guy called Maki, and he raised us like a boot camp for 6 months of just hell, put it that way. And most of the guys did not have the mental or the physical strength to carry on, and they wanted to quit. But I knew that the end result was so important and so powerful, I didn't care. My mind was too strong. So I would always be the guy say, listen, I'll take the beating. I'll take the abuse. All right. I'll take the pain. Let me take the pain. And then they would end up going easy on me because I had already taken so much that they felt like, man, this guy we can't break him, you know? So, but they would lay off of somebody else. So I'm the same way now. Is I want to pave the way, okay, on the front lines, you know, like they did in, gosh, you know, an amazing president, Teddy Roosevelt. This guy would fight on the front lines. A president fighting a battle on the front lines. Can you imagine that? He would fight a battle on the front lines before he became president. When he was a governor, he went down to the Panama, but he was in Panama, and he actually fought in the front lines. So my point is this. I'm no better than anyone else. I'm a servant leader. I don't care about getting dirty or what's going to happen to me. I have no fear anymore. Fear is gone. So make your comment below about what you want to hear or what, you know, is going to help you. Subscribe to this channel because I want to grow the channel. I want a lot of other people to find out about this because this is going to be part of how the Mass Awakening is going to happen. And it's also going to be a part of how you're going to get rich. And a lot of other people are going to get incredibly rich. Okay, so watch this channel, watch the other videos that come out, subscribe, leave a comment, do the like button if you like the video, share the video if you really like it. I know it's long, but this is going to give you people in the future. People watch this now, like, who's this guy, Gavin Mehl? You know, like I said, at one point it was a household name really out here, and you're not in Sacramento. It's hard to understand. But in the future, this is going to be very important to know that these things have been done and the groundwork has been laid. And my mastermind group is talking to me about just getting the footprint out there, laying the groundwork, about just telling the truth. The truth has to be told, okay, to generations in different ways. The truth is always the truth. But it's got to be told different ways to new generations. We're in a digital age now. We're in an age where people learn by video. It's crazy. I never thought that. In a million years, you could have told me that years ago, I would have never got it. I thought 10 years ago, I would have been no way. But now I believe that people learn better by video than any other way right now. That's just the way I believe. I don't know. I think more people watch a video and learn than sit down and read a book or go to a lecture or meet the guy in person. I'm not saying it's the best way. I'm just saying that is how the mass will learn. Okay, that's why I'm recording this video, and that's why I think if you're not on YouTube, you should get on YouTube. You should start a video channel. You should do Periscope as well, like I was doing, and start leaving a footprint. You know, we'll definitely talk about that in the future. But do you want more training on these calls? I mean, this call is really about mindset, content creation, and list building. Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind call. Number 5 with the new name, but technically it's actually number 22. So if you think my hair looks silly, make a comment below. If you think I talk too much, make a comment below. If you think I'm not good looking, make a comment below. If you think I am good looking, make a comment. I don't care. Make a comment and tell me your story. I'm gonna laugh about it. I can take things lightly and with a grain of salt. I'm here to have fun and take things easy. And I hope that you do the same. Remember, in life and in business and in negotiation, like Herb Cohen would say, you have to care, but not that much. You have to care, but not that much. So give love, give hugs, take the time to spend to yourself, study the Master Key System every single day. Your mind's going to crave it over time. It's going to crave that nourishment. And you have to study it, okay? I'm not going to tell you what it's all about. You have to study it. If you're, maybe 1% of people will watch this, will study it, maybe 100%. I don't know. But this is not about me making money off of any of you. I don't have anything to sell. Even though I'm a salesman and I was a #1 salesman of this company, I don't have anything to sell, okay? I just want to add value. I want to get this out there to the world, and I want you to see, okay, what the power of the mastermind is. And I want to grow the mastermind group as well. I do have a group on LinkedIn that you can join, but you have to be on LinkedIn. It's Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind, and I'll put in the link below. Again, it's just where you can get fresh updates as well, in addition to the YouTube. I'll put other things in the LinkedIn group as well. And then also, just a question. A question. So if you could leave a comment about this, if you watch till the end, I would appreciate it. Just tell me this. Should I get Facebook? All right, this is probably you're like, what? I'm probably the only internet marketer on the planet that doesn't have Facebook. Okay? And people think I'm like crazy. I would imagine they think I'm insane. I'm off my rocker. I'm nuts. You know, what do you mean you don't have Facebook? Facebook wasn't that 10 years ago, dude? Like, how are you missing that? Like the whole time I missed Facebook, I really never even got into any of it. I mean, at that time when all of it was starting, I had a big name. And so someone had started a MySpace account for me and started using it in my name, and I had no idea. And that was really the only thing I ever had. And it wasn't even me. It was the guy who started it for me. I ended up getting it later. But anyways, I didn't have any of that, so I didn't do anything like that. So I never got into Facebook, and then it all just happened. And then fortunately, I got into LinkedIn and Twitter. But anyways, should I be on Facebook? Am I missing out? Or is Facebook a waste of time for a marketer? Is it something that's just going to suck the life out of you? I mean, really, is it that much value to a marketer? Or is there more value than it does damage? I don't know. I don't know the answer to these questions. I'd love to know if you know. How much time do you spend on Facebook? Because I don't plan to spend much time on it. I use something called Sendable right now, and Zookle, which is amazing. I'm hoping to merge all my social media tools into this amazing platform called Zookle. I'm going to do more videos about this Zookle thing, but it's a massive movement, okay? So I'm hoping to merge all my marketing tools into this one Zookle platform, which I'm learning. I'm going to do training videos on it. Right now, I'm still using Sendable and Hootsuite to syndicate my content, but my point is that I don't want to be on Facebook. I don't want to look at it. I don't have time. I'm too busy doing other things and creating content. It's very distractions, and I have seen it's very slow. So thank you so much for watching. This is the Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind Call number 5. It's November 4th. If you watched till the end, I hope that it inspired you, and I hope it lifted your spirits up a little bit. It's going to be a different call. You're going to get to know somebody out there who's incredibly energetic. And here's the last thing for you. I'm doing this thing called intermittent fasting. Kind of off the topic here, but man, it's crazy. You wouldn't believe this. I have not eaten food since yesterday. So no food yet. It's almost 4 o'clock. No food. I'm not going to be eating for like another 2 hours. Isn't that crazy? Basically, you don't eat breakfast. You skip breakfast and you fast about 18 hours, 16 to 18 hours. Why the hell are you crazy? I'm like, look into it. I'm experiencing some profound advantages from it. Basically, where I feel more energetic. My thoughts are clearer. I'm putting on muscle, losing fat, all right, getting younger, all these great things, all these amazing benefits. So you got to look into it yourself. But I love it. Intermittent fasting. Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind Call. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel. Do the thumbs up if you like the video. Okay. Share it if you really are enthused about it. Thank you so much for watching. I got love for you. Appreciation and gratitude. And one last thing, I never shared it. What are the 2 most powerful, important words in the human language? Well, in this book, Miracle of Water, Dr. Emoto, he breaks it down. It's very simple. It's called Positive Energy of Love and Gratitude. Love and gratitude are the 2 most powerful words in the English language, because he says they make the most beautiful crystals out of all crystals. He put his life's work into discovering the secrets of water. These ugly crystals here are negative words. And then the beautiful crystals, like beautiful. The most beautiful ones were love and gratitude. The most beautiful crystals, and this is a lot of science behind this. So just to wrap up as a point, success is not genetic, okay? You can be successful. You can be what you will to be. It's like Napoleon Hill discovered after all his research, and Henry Ford didn't want you to know. So be thankful. Have love and gratitude that this information is now available with the means of YouTube, and then you don't have to spend $5,000 and take years and years of me researching to find this information. Okay, now it's just like on a video, and you can just find it out yourself, and you can look into it more. But I've done the hard work and labor and spent the thousands of dollars to determine these things are really true. So let's get the message out there. I appreciate you watching. Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind. Thank you so much. Have an amazing weekend. We'll see you next time, Friday, next week at the same time, same channel. Subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment below. I love you. Be the best.